Allama Doctor Muhammad Iqbal is one of the most influential personality who affected the thoughts of both Eastern and Western people. He was named as the poet of East, but he was in fact the poet of world. He is said to be the man who dreamed for an independent country for the Muslims of subcontinent India. Though he could not see his dream to become reality in his life, but just after 9 years of his demise in 1938, a new country, Pakistan, came into being in 1947. Today I would like to talk about the books of Allama Iqbal. It is the first part of the series of Understanding Iqbal. I hope you will like this series. You are requested to show these videos to your children and the young boys and girls so that they can know about their history. A nation that forgets its history, the world forgets its geography. The first book of Iqbal is Ilmul Iqdisad. It is not his poetry but a piece of prose written by him in Urdu language. He wrote it in 1903. It is about the knowledge of economics. The second book of Iqbal I would like to talk about is The Development of Metaphysics in Persia. It is written in English in 1908. It was his thesis of Ph.D. He wrote it while studying in University of Munich, Germany for his Ph.D. degree. It is about the development of metaphysical thought in Persia. It is a book of philosophy and is worth to read. The third book of Iqbal that is worth to mention is Masnavi Asrar-e Khudi. It is a book of his poetry written in Persian language. He wrote it in 1915. It is about the secrets of self. It is a very important book in which he explained his provoking thoughts about his great idea of self. Self is the central idea of his poetry. It is in Persian language, but its explanations in Urdu, English and other languages are also available. The fourth book of the great poet is Ramuz-e Khudi. It is written in Persian language in 1918. It tells us about the secrets of mixing oneself and the collective self. It is like mixing a water drop in the river, but it is not for getting self-identity and self-characteristics. Rather, it is to strengthen the collective identity and collective grace. It is giving oneself under the self of a whole nation. It is an Islamic idea in which the individuals sacrifice their self and self-benefits for the betterment of the whole millat. The fifth book I want to introduce is named as Payam Mashriq. It is in Persian language. It is a book of poetry of Iqbal. He wrote it in 1923. It is message of East to the whole world. It is answer of the ideas of the great philosopher and poet Goethe. In this book he has given the ideas of Islamic thoughts and deeds to world. It is in Persian, but its translation is available in Urdu, English and other languages. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, 1749–1832, was a German poet, scientist and philosopher. Goethe was enormously productive, and his works range from poems, dramas and novels to essays and scientific papers. Among his most important works also includes the Sorrows of Young Werther, Faust and West-Östliches Divan, or West Eastern Divan is a Divan, or collection of lyrical poems inspired by the Persian poet Hafiz. The sixth and the most read book of the great poet Iqbal is Bang-o-Thera. It is in Urdu. It is his book of poetry. He wrote it in 1924. It is a loud voice of the poet. He tried its best to awaken the deep sleeping Muslim nation throughout the world. His poetry in this book provides guidelines to the youth of Muslim nation. In this book Iqbal presented the great ideas he extracted from the divine knowledge.
Seventh book I would like to introduce is named as Zabur-e-Ajam. It is in Persian language. It is a book of his poetry. It is written in 1927. It is like Bible of non-Arabic world. Zabur-e-Ajam includes the Masnavi, Gulshan-e Raz-e Jadid and Bandagi Nama. There are 4 sections in it. The first 2 are sequences of ghazals in the classical form, and the other 2 are single long poems. Iqbal forcefully expresses his inner convictions and urges the reader to advance himself to achieve progress and prosperity by discovering and strengthening the self.
The Reconstruction of Religious Thoughts in Islam is a great book of Iqbal. It is a piece of his prose. It is written in 1930. It is Muhammad Iqbal's major philosophical work. It is a series of profound reflections on the personal conflict among science, religion, and philosophy. He stressed to culminate in new vision of the unity of human knowledge, of the human spirit, and of God. Javed Nama is book of Iqbal's poetry. It is in Persian language, published in 1932. In this book, he addresses the youth of the whole Muslim world. The Javed Nama, or the Book of Eternity, is a Persian book of poetry written by him. It is considered to be one of the masterpieces of Iqbal. It is inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy, and just as Dante's guide was Virgil, who was an ancient Roman poet, Iqbal is guided by Maulana Rumi. Bala Jibril, or the Wing of Jibril, is poetry book of Iqbal. It is in Urdu language. It is written in 1935. Bala Jibril is the peak of Iqbal's Urdu poetry. It displays the vision and intellect necessary to foster sincerity and firm belief in the heart of the Ummah, and turns its members into true believers. Zarb-e Kalim is great book of Iqbal. It consists of Urdu poetry of Iqbal. It is written in 1936. It is a strike of Moses, the strike of Moses that cut into parts the river and gave way to cross the river for the followers of Moses. The strike that hit the huge rock and brought out 12 springs of water for his followers. It is a very meaningful and thought-provoking poetry of the great poet Iqbal.
Pasche Bayat Aqwam Sharq is a book of the Persian poetry of great philosopher Allama Doctor Muhammad Iqbal. What should then be done, O people of the East, is a philosophical poetry book of Allama Iqbal. It is written in 1936. It provides guideline to the people of East and asks them to uplift and groom their identity.
Ilmul Iqdisad is great book of Iqbal. It is in Persian and Urdu languages. It is written in 1938, that is on the year of the death of the great philosopher poet of East. It is the gift of the non-Arabic world. It is incomplete and there are gaps in it. These gaps were intentionally left by the great poet that he wants to fill after completing his pilgrimage. That he intended to do, but he got no chance to fill these gaps and met his Lord before completing his book. Letters of Iqbal are in English. This book is compiled by Bashir Ahmed Dar in 1978. These letters are written by Iqbal, hence this book is included in the list of Iqbal's books. Bashir Ahmed Dar has compiled these letters. Stray Reflections consists of the Iqbal's private notebook. It is compiled by the son of Iqbal, that is Javed Iqbal. He published it in 2006. As the original writing consists of Iqbal's personal views, hence it is included in the list of Iqbal's books.